We got all of our shifter rails cleaned up. Now we're gonna start putting them back together and put it in the transmission. We're gonna take our shifter paws and put them into shifters, and we're gonna keep them in there with these cotter pins, and it should end up looking like that. We're getting the paw and the spring, and we're gonna be putting it into the shifter. Okay. Kind of have to put a little force onto it.
Yeah, just a little.
And then you can put your cotter pin at the bottom.
If you're lucky. There. Woo. Ta-da.
You're going to start by putting in the underdrive shifter.
It goes on this gear right here. Yeah. Then you put this here shifting rod. You can rotate it over here. I believe it'll end up like that.
Next thing that you do, you get this adjusting screw in there.
This guy started like that. You back it out a little bit though, right there. Then you take the cap screw, and this threads into the shifting shaft that you put in there. Just kind of started in there.
Remove the cotter pin from the shifter pawl that was compressing the spring.
Slink.
Install with the threaded in of the shaft first, then you can get your first, third, reverse shifter.
When you get to this shifter pawl, sometimes it's a little tight. Just kind of use a rawhide hammer or a soft hammer or some type to get it past the tight spot there. And line this flat spot. I believe on this one it goes down. Yes. Like that.
Put in the adjuster and the cap screw.
And just like the other one, just start them. You don't want to, just so the shifter doesn't move around.
Once you have the shifter installed, you can remove your cotter pin from the shifter pawl. Just like before, we're just going to do it the same for the second and fifth shifter. We don't
Start again.
we don't like to see Dad struggle, so we already put it in.
I think you like to see me struggle. We spoke about the bearing in the bottom of the transmission case. Looked like it failed and somebody had got in there and worked on the transmission before. Well, when we opened it up, this is one of the things we found. See our nice bent shaft right there? This is the what? 4th and 6th gear?
Yes.
And it goes outside the case, goes onto this shifter fork, and it goes into that little gear on the bottom of the case there. And it's on the outside of the transmission case. Well, I think whenever they put the bearing in it, they didn't quite catch all the damage with this bent shifter fork. So it actually had that gear pushed out a little farther of the case, and it has a witness mark on our cover that goes on the outside of the transmission case. So with Paul being a diligent mechanic, isn't that right? He did a complete repair instead of doing a half repair. And yeah, maybe he'll learn something as we continued on working on this tractor. So
This is the gear shaft keeper.
you just line your flats on your shafts up, and you put this bolt in there, I guess. And that's all we're going to do for right now. This is all part of the adjustment process that we're going to do on the shifter for just the mesh on the gear transmission.
This is the 4th and 6th shifter, and we're going to install it kind of like the other ones.
Yeah. These have the 2 poppets, and they go on this side of the transmission case. There it is for now. Cut.
We're going to install the set screw for the 4th and 6th shifter.
So there's the hole in the shift rail, and you line it up. Right. And that's what you do. Get a pair of pliers or a wrench and tighten that up. All right, to put in the 4th and 6th shifter, you push this back pretty much as far as you can, and then you can put the gear on the counter shaft if it wants to. You know, there you go. Then you take your shift fork, put it in there like that, and then you can, it goes in there like that. Now we'll put in the, get a good side of where our set screw goes. We'll thread that guy in there. And we'll use a little adjustable wrench to tighten him up. That awkwardly tighten the bolt here. In gear, right here. Doesn't appear like there's a whole lot of clearance on these 2 gears.
Next, the 4th and 6th detent plunger and spring.
Detent plunger, rounded on the end. The older ones have a ball, and then this is square, but this is the newer version, and it's got a rounded end. Must be a cost-saving item. Here's the spring. Now, I'm going to put I got a big old washer out of my hardware bin, and I like to put some pressure on this detent. That way it will, we can find the, see, whenever it's locked in gear or whatever. So, oh, somebody didn't take out their,
Don't forget about the cotter pin.
that one may have some tension on it now. Well, you just have to trust him. He'll take it out. I wanted to try to explain how to adjust the transmission shifter shafts for the preload or the mesh on the gears. And I read the book on this one, and it's not the way I have ever been taught to do this. So according to the book, up here, this here is your underdrive shift shaft. So I've moved it all the way to the right until it got into the detent, and we've taken the bolt out of the end, and we've backed out that adjustment screw. So this shaft, and see how it moves back and forth? The whole gear set moves back and forth with that shaft. Okay? And it says to get it to be 80% into the mesh of the splines on, this is the input, okay? Now, and then it says, that's all it said, you know, get it to 80%, tighten it up, and that's all you need to do. Well, the way I've been taught to do this over the years is a little different. We shift that over into the other detent to get into let's turn this a little bit so it'll mesh. And of course, it's not wanting to cooperate because I got to hold the camera and do this at the same time. Hey, cameraman, come here. Hold this. All right. Okay, that's good. All right, now, okay, so now that gear is over here. Whoop, let me get a better picture. This is this gear, and it meshes with this gear. Now, see how it doesn't quite line up? So what I did is I get this gear lined up the way I want it, which you'll probably be, I don't know if you can tell or not, because, back out here a little bit, there we go. It's a little over the center. I'm going to take it all the way over this way, about right there. That's telling me that that looks about right to me. And then I'll go over here, do this adjustment, snug it up, and up against the shaft until it's tight, and put the bolt in there, and tighten the bolt, and then recheck, and then make sure that both sides of, you know, engaged for direct, and then the underdrive is basically lined up. So that's how I always done this one. Now we're going to do the first, third, and reverse shifter, which is this one here. So loosen this adjusting bolt out. See, you can move it. You can move that shaft with it if you pull it out like that. Okay. Now let me get my light in here. That's the worst thing about lights. They're never where you need them to be. But okay. Goodness, I can't see nothing. All right. Wow, I can't get you anywhere near where I want it to be. Let's try this. All right, this is the first, third, and reverse shifter shaft, and right underneath there is a bolt coming through the case. I really like to get the light and there you can see it. All right, see the bolt there? Now you can't see it, but that will bottom here on this shifter. So what you need to do is get this shifter shaft right here. You need to get it to where it's in this pawl is in the plunger. It clicks into these detents in the shaft. You want to make sure that it is in the detent, and then slide it over here, and with this, push it all the way to the right. So you can put it all the way left and take it to the right. So anyway, you want to shove it all the way to the right as a case, and go back here, and we're in the dark again. All right. And you see this gear right here? This one here, you want that dead center in with those teeth. So you can, like with this one here, it kind of moves a little bit, but there's going to be a little give with the fork and all that, but kind of split the difference there. Right there's in the middle, so you can adjust this bolt right here either out or in to this bolt right here, which is the one that holds this plate on, and that adjusts your out and in of this shaft to the right. So we get that adjusted over here like we want it. So we're gonna get the wrench. Paul's gonna turn it, tighten it up a little bit, buddy. You're gonna watch it turn, watch it move over as he turns the, turn it. There you go. Whoa, right there. There it lined up. So then we're going to go over here with this, and we'll take our screwdriver here and tighten this, tighten it up till it stops. At that point, we'll put the cap screw in there. And of course, from here, and give it a little snug, and that should have the go there and go click. There it went. Make sure the pawl engages again. You can tell that by this little pin goes down. This center one here And go. I think this is the reverse gear over here.
First, third, and reverse.
Mm-hmm. So, the reason why I said that's reverse is because it pushes the this is the underdrive. It automatically puts it in underdrive when it goes over. So, do that. You'll have this one adjusted. Do I believe it's second and fifth. Oh well, I think that's it. Anyway, that would be this one here. So what you do is you slide it all the way that way to where it gets into the detent. So it goes click, so this thing's down, all right? And then take this screw and adjustment screw right here, back it out a few turns. Actually, quite a few actually. And then what I do, I start this cap screw back in, and I take my pry bar here, grab the edge of that screw and pull the shaft right up against your adjustment screw. All right? And you take your adjustment screw out, or your cap screw out, and then you come in here and you see this gear right here. Let's try to focus. And you start turning that in, and as you do, it will start to line up with the gear on the counter shaft right here. And you want it to be, see how that one, yeah, it's kind of flush right there. Actually, I went in a little too far, so we'll back it off a little bit. It's kind of hard to do this while you're taking a video. But if you read the book, it sounds a lot more complicated than it really is. Alright, so now we've removed all the slop between your adjustment and that shaft. We pull on that shaft, thread it into that shaft and pull on it. And you can see here, maybe it's more into the center, this gear. We'll ride right into the center of this gear, giving full contact. And can you continue being a happy transmission for a few more years anyway. So all you gotta do now is put in your cap screw here, tighten up with the ratchet, and then safety wire all your adjusting shift shaft adjusting cap screws, and you have it adjusted. Paul's putting some Permatex on the side shield cover gasket. That stuff's been around a long time. I've about got to get another can of it. It lasts a long time, but he's kind of putting it on a little excessively thick. He needs to brush it out a little bit, but he's doing a good job. So we'll get this gasket tacked up and put this cover on.
After we adjusted the shifter shafts, we tightened up all the bolts, put lock wires on, and now we're going to put the cover on.
Slink.